actually, the story goes that it was sponsored by Le Mans Porsche because Clayton Day Jr., the president of Harley, met with Nick Furr at a bar in London, and that's how it all came to be, and that is thanks to David Anderson. Thank you, David.
Now, we were talking about this car here, this Audi R8. At the front of Sebring, like down the front straight, if you're out in the midway, all the flags of the winning cars for every 12 hours, and you can see when that Audi raced because it was German for so many years in a row. So cool to see. One of their cars was not able to leave. There go Todd Treffert's nephews there in those S2000s. Andrea Robertson there in that Ford Doran, they said. I asked the pronunciation of it, and they said Doran. I always thought it was Duran.
Doran sounds right, but I'd like to know what the background of that. It's a GT40 Ford.
But I think Doran was kind of the specialty shop that might have helped make it for racing at Le Mans. And she and her husband did win her class in Le Mans a few years ago in the 24 hours. And then what is this right behind Travis? Oh, that's Jacek Muka in the Cadillac DPI. Jacek, I haven't seen him in this car before. Jacek, one of our fantastic drivers. He's one of my favorite people. We talk about him. I was asking him yesterday because both of us are big pinball players. I've got a few pinball machines, and he has a bunch of pinball machines.
To play pinball?
Oh, I love pinball. And he had a pinball injury. A couple years ago, he was wearing a wrist brace, and I said, "What's going on, Jacek?" And he says, "Pinball injury." And,
you've got to come up with a better story than that.
That's pretty awesome. No, that's his story. I mean, so let's go through the grid here real quick.
If you hit an apple tree while you were skydiving, that would be much more likely.
Yeah, exactly. So that Ginetta is not in the group. That is our new Ginetta pace car there. Check that out, ladies and gentlemen.
All the way from Leeds.
Yes. And then there is Travis Engen, the Audi R8 LMP, and Audi has confirmed that is the most winning Audi in racing history. Jacek Muka in second in Group 11 Cadillac DPI. Jim Booth in a Radical SR10. Don Yountz back there back-to-back in his Orica Challenge car, so welcome, Don. Michael and Colin Schmitz in the Norma M350. Louis Schreiber in a Radical SR10. Aaron Weiss in a Praga R1T. Ralph Lamacchia in a Mazda Elan DP02. So, Tom, I hope you're watching because your friend Ralph Lamacchia is out there in a Mazda Elan DP02. Benjamin Myers, that's the nephew of Todd Treffert, in a Carbier CS2. And Andrew Myers, his brother, in a Carbier Sports 2000. Lee Brain in a Ralt RT41SR. Gary Gray, oh gosh, that's gonna mess me up all day. Gary Gray in a Radical SR8. Andrea Robertson, we were talking about her in that Ford GT, silver and green with Robertson Racing. So cool to have her out here. I got to visit her shop at a VDCA event a couple years ago at Road Atlanta. Unbelievable. Goebel Newsom in a Sebeco NP01 Evo. Am I saying that right? Or is it Sebeco? I had to correct one of my voiceovers in years past, and now I can't remember how I did it.
Which one are you looking at?
The Sebeco NP01. Right. I think that's the way to do it. And then Dave Sebeco in a Radical SR3. So a beautiful group here. We do have a lot of cool Group 11 cars that just recently raced in the 12 hours of Sebring. But I'll say this. Travis Engen is a very good, calculated driver that does not take risks and, is there at the end. Jacek Muka, not so much. So we're going to have an interesting start here going into Mission Foods Turn 1.
Well, you've done it now. You put the muckers on it. Here we go then. The lights on the Ginetta are off. This is our first Group 5A, 7 and 11 SVRA 2024. We'll be going around the Speed Tour around the entire United States, so there is always going to be somewhere where you can catch this action live, and just go on the Speed Tour website or join us on the internet if you can't get to the actual race itself.
Those are the S2000s, but we're coming to the green, Jonathan.
Here we go. And it should be short shift for the Audi, but you never know, as you say. Here they come then. Green flag waves and away we go. On the right-hand side, the all-silver Audi. The R8 LMP. Well, 2005 and just about... No, he doesn't. Ooh. Muka is it that takes the lead there in the Cadillac Daytona prototype.
And what you just saw there is just textbook Travis Engen. He saw him in his mirror and is like, I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to get him. Don't worry, guys. You know, and just doesn't put a wheel wrong to that driver, Travis Engen. But, man, getting bunched up there, coming through the twisty bits of the S's. I don't like seeing this.
He's dropped a few places, isn't he? Tight.
Well, those radicals are really quick and nimble, and that Audi really doesn't get up to tire temperature for about a lap. So he's going to have to hang back there fighting with these radicals there.
Maybe he's working that at the hairpin. And off the fancy straight he goes.
The Cube 3 architecture, hairpin turn 7. So happy to have them on board with us. Look at this, though, side by side going into 10.
And already the field started to spread out. That Cadillac is off. Muka leading the way. Jacek Muka in the number 5, the black and blue Cadillac DPI. As we go back to the 63 of Jim Booth in the Radical SR10.
Jim Booth, I think, is kind of warming up for our new Prototype Sprint Series Association races this year with Hankook tires and quite a pretty big purse for the PSSA. And their first race is our next race at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for this East Coast. And we've got PSSA next weekend, Thunder Hill, just north of San Francisco. Now, I have to brag on my friend Jacek Muka here. If you've ever had to shrink wrap something on a pallet, like at the airports or for international shipping, he invented and has the patents on that machine.
Oh, that's a good gig to have.
Yeah.
How do you get hold of that?
He's a smart person. He's smart enough to think something like that up, you know. So it's cool to have that. But look at this back here, just behind, all over the place. We've got some race cars, but these are the cars that would qualify for our PSSA, and I think some of them are out here to kind of give this a test. Woo! And just beautiful, beautiful driving. I'm not sure if that's Michael or Colin Schmitz in that, but Michael or Colin Schmitz, that's exactly what we want to see. You saw what was about to happen. You tapped on the brakes, and you kept from collecting 2 cars. So right there, unbelievable driving. Yes, you did have to fall back, but you lived to fight another day and didn't collect 2 cars. So hats off to you, gentlemen.
Good idea. Yeah, he's the only two-man driver combination, Michael and Colin Schmitz.
Look at the aero difference in these 2 cars. Number 72, Aaron Weiss, that's a Praga R1T. And these are the, I just don't know a lot about modern cars and prototype cars, so hopefully you guys out there can tell us that. So please let us know about these prototypes and these radicals. I think the pallet spinner and the wrapper, the fully automatic, I think he did both. Joseph was asking me that question in the comments.
There you go. Well, we got some interesting cats, haven't we? Throughout the SVRA paddock.
You know, it's like the most interesting men and women in the world are in our paddock, you know, and from all walks of life, and just absolutely, it's so much fun to walk around the paddock and get to know what everybody does.
No, I can totally imagine. So it's pretty tight here for second and third at the moment.
Yeah, but look at that Audi in the background, Jacek Muka there. I don't know this to be fact, but I'm guessing there's probably about 15 years difference between that Cadillac DPI that Jacek is driving and the Audi R8 LMP that Travis is driving.
Yeah.
And is this the Elan of Lamacchia there, the number 7? Yes. Ralph Lamacchia and Tom, our grid chief for years, kind of teamed up and did a lot of co-racing together. Ralph usually with Wolf Motorsports there out of Road America. But I love these Elan DPO1s and DPO2s. Our friend Gary Geselter is in an Elan DPO1 a lot of times. And then this should be the Myers here. Let's see, that's the 29 Benjamin, just ahead of his brother,
which is the
Andrew. Older. And they said, you know, you can see these cars are to the ground, slammed to the ground. They're up as high as they possibly can be. And it's like this track will rattle the fillings out of your teeth in those cars.
Mucha, Engen, and Booth is your top 3 then, at the moment.
Oh, I have a question from Phil Manson, which is, which model of the Radical is that? There's a Radical SR10 out there. There's another Radical SR10. And then there's a Radical SR8 that Gary Gray, number 34, is driving. But that's the number 29 there of Benjamin Myers. Look at how that thing just holds to the ground.
Totally.
That was a really cool racers class. Ford Pinto 2-liter engines, that's the 2000. Easy to source, easy to find, pretty high horsepower. You could find some power in those things, but kind of like a spec racers series back in the day with SCCA. And still to this day in SCCA, it's always some of the biggest fields.
Yeah, the more things change, the more they stay the same in terms of championships anyway.
But a lot of really good drivers come from this series. As you can see from the body work, not expensive to repair if something should happen, and just a lot of fun to race.
Andrew Myers currently in 9th position, chasing brother Benjamin in 8th.
But first in our Group 5.
Yeah.
So they're fighting for first and second in Group 5. There's no way those little Ford Pinto 2-liter engines, no matter how good of a mechanic Wolf is, could keep up with these Audis and these DPs, but they do, you know, from a visibility standpoint, they kind of belong on track. It's hard to find who these S2000s can run with in a mixed group just for visibility purposes.
Well, you'd say that at the front you've got some really good pedalers and also some really fast cars. They're so much faster in a straight line. Yeah.
Let's see if he goes under the blue dot there, under the bridge to avoid the bumps. And let's see what happens here, because these are two brothers that are competitive anywhere they go. They were with us at Watkins Glen a few years ago, Road America, and then there's is it Sebeco? We have any comments there on the comment people?
Yes, Sebeco.
And Andrea Robertson.
Yep.
Look at this. It's a beautiful car.
Isn't it? I went and had a close look at it, and it really is lovely.
Still in the trim that it ran at Le Mans. She's got a left brake light out. So Mr. Bennett over there at RM, you got a left brake light out, it looks like. And that is not a penalty in SVRA. You can have, you just have to have one of your brake lights functioning.
Okay. Well, the gap at the front, Muka's taken it to just over 6 seconds now, as we concentrate quite rightly on this little battle going on between Robson and Newsom.
A little bit of a handling versus horsepower there.
I don't know which of those two cars I prefer, to be honest. I suppose the GT40, you got to have a Ford,
yeah,
at some point.
So Allison Creech is saying that the S2s have about 160 horsepower. They're very light, very stiff cars.
Yeah.
So that'd be a really fun car to drive. But I think in the beauty category, I think that car right there is winning.
No question about it. It's one of the most beautiful cars ever penned, I think.
I think the left brake light is working. Maybe it's just the camera angle there. Maybe I'm going blind.
Maybe.
That's probably the more probable explanation.
So Muka Engen and Booth at the moment. Louis Schreiber in 4th. Aaron Weiss in 5th. Michael and Colin Schmitz still holding on to 6th place. Then Ralph Lamacchia is in 7th. Benjamin Myers 8th. Andrew Myers 9th. And we've been watching that battle between the pair of them. And Andrew Myers 9th. And in 10th place, Gobel Newsom.
Now one of these may be that SR8. So let's see what's the number there. That's the Ferrari Mono. New driver in SVRA there is Dave Kunzelman, and that's a Radical SR3, that red car in kind of the Ferrari livery. And then that should be Gary Gray there just ahead in that Radical SR8. Yeah, that's number 34, Gary Gray. So look at Jonathan, I just want to give it up for our directors and our camera people. In SVRA, we want to show everybody in the group, and they just went through the whole group there, so thank you guys so much. Hope you appreciate that at home. That's who's here with us in Group 5A, 7, and 11. And now let's talk to our comment section here on YouTube. Which one of these cars would you like to have 30 minutes inside of around Sebring?
I know mine.
What's yours?
The Audi.
The Audi R8?
Yeah, just for history's sake, yeah.
I don't know if my body can handle the G-forces.
Nah. Well, no, I prefer Travis took me around in it.
Yeah. Travis is a big-time swimmer. To stay in shape, to be able to drive these high horsepower, high G-force cars. So that is the Mustang sampling car that we watched at the 12 Hours of Sebring and Daytona just a few years ago, being piloted around by Jacek Mucha.
No surprise, Ford GT gets the vote.
Justin Schroeder says any of them.
Yeah, actually that's a fair point.
Allison Crete says, I'd like the R8, but I might not be fast enough to heat the tires. That's where I am.
You can see the layout, how big it is, and how big the airport is. The background is still there, and how this was all part of a complex airport back in the day, until they started going around it. And Sebring was born.
And you got to wonder if it's huge concrete blocks. They don't know how deep the concrete goes on the on the airport tarmacs, and it's really wide. So you got to think that they were afraid of maybe back then the Germans or somebody coming over and bombing, so maybe they made it so thick and so wide that to keep that from happening so that our planes could still take off.
Yeah, but I know your point, but surely a hole's a hole. Doesn't matter how many feet you deep,
Yeah, but maybe they're thinking we could avoid it, if it's somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
Somewhere, I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe somebody out there does know.
Well, Mika's just done his fastest lap of the race, just dipping under 2 minutes. Pretty impressive.
Who did?
Jacek, 1:59.5.
Jacek Mucha, yeah.
So he's hurtling along. 13.8 seconds now ahead of Travis Engen in second.
Jacek Mucha drives a lot of different cars with us, and I almost feel like sometimes he looks at the entry list to see who he can race against, because a few years ago at Road America, he and James French just went at it in these little Elan DPO 1s or 2s back in the day, and then I've seen him in like a Group 9 car with some of the people, so I think he just kind of wants to bring out whatever he's got. But go back to the 29 of Benjamin Myers. His hands look very still and stable. Looks like he's really controlled coming through the Bennett Bridge Hall Bishop's Bend. Benjamin Bennett Bridge Hall Bishop's
Good job,
Bend.
Benjamin Button's not racing.
I laughed at John at the first one of the season, so I go out there and put the brake markers up there, and I thought we've got to have it be the Bennett Bridge Hall Bishop's Bend, because obviously it's really hard to say and just makes it funny for us.
Not sure Danny Lowry thinks this is as funny as you do.
Now, Phil Manson says he likes that Detroit steel Cadillac. I don't know if there's a pound of steel on that car.
Yeah, I bet. Those skirts really stick to the floor, don't they?
Yeah. You can see all of them in this group are staying under that blue dot.
Just a lot of ground, though, as Andrew Myers to his opponent, his brother.
Look at that thing.
Which is older, Benjamin or Andrew? Do we know?
I think Benjamin, but they're close. See the campers there. We love seeing that. Jesse was letting campers in starting Thursday night. Here's the two brothers here as they come into Cube 3 Turn 7. Cube 3 architecture. We've got Nick Middleton here this weekend. And, the last 2 seasons in Trans Am, he hadn't missed a race. So he comes in as a series sponsor. So it's so cool to have him with us.
Well, the clock ticking down, just over 5 minutes to go in this Group 5, 7, and 11 race 1. They've got 2 each weekend in SVRA. Where the hell, there's so many events that you go to that we're not necessarily doing a live stream as part of Trans Am. So where else do you like to go?
Well, I'm going to Thunder Hill for the first time next weekend.
Yeah, that's in Texas, right?
No, it's in just north of. I'll fly into Sacramento and drive about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But here we go. Look at this. I mean, this looks like we're watching the 12 hours. Look at that big bump. Basically, we're in the era now of reverse airplanes. You know, just made to suck to the ground. Somebody moved my sign there.
Where'd they put it?
It's just cattywampus.
Nice shot of turn 16 and turn 1. In the foreground is turn 1. You can see how wide the entry is.
Yeah, we've got the Optimal Ultimate Street Car right there, just off camera right. Lots of cars here running with that, and you can see Travis Engen coming down to put a lap down on Andrea Robertson. Yeah. There's the 99, the Sebeco of Goebel Newsom. We've got Allison Creed says greetings from Nova Scotia.
Wow, friend of Alan's.
Yeah. 24 Hours of Lemons is at Thunder Hill right now. They will not leave the track clean enough for you next weekend, but I hear there's going to be rain.
California's been getting it lately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was wrong. Both brake lights work. Nice job, Mr. Bennett. Under the Corvette Bridge, coming down to Cube 3 architecture, turn 7. Look at the difference in these cars now. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. They're sort of having to sandwich their way through.
Booth is trying to give it to Travis Engen. Look at that. Coming around on that radical.
That's nicely done. He used the traffic well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the old pick and roll, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Muka way out front at the moment. He's got a 20-second lead over second place Travis Engen, who's fighting through traffic at the moment. Or with traffic, anyway. Jim Booth still third, Schreiber fourth. Aaron Weiss in fifth place, and Ralph Lamacchia in sixth.
I'm seeing some safety cars with their lights on at the Corvette Bridge out my window, so we're going to see what happens. But I am hearing from our directors that it's going to be white flag this time by for our leader.
Oh, I see what you're talking about now. Yeah, maybe somebody's conked out just under the bridge.
So here comes our leader. Let's see if they make this the white or the checker.
It's going to be the white.
Yep. So
one more to go then, and Muka with a country mile lead here.
What is a country mile, Mr. Texas?
Well, we call ourselves, it's basically, I mean, it's an English
Is it 5,280 feet, or is it a little longer?
Well, a country mile just seems longer.
Yeah. Like a long country road straight?
Well, not so much a road, but it's a country mile. You got to get cross country is what, that's how I see it. Like, he's a country mile. You know, when you take a road or a freeway, that's easy. It's a mile. But a country mile, that could be over hill and down dale and across hedges and past cows. So, you know.
Well, I'm loving watching the comment. So leave us a comment. Where are you guys all from? Where are you watching from?
Ontario, one.
Yeah.
We're coming there.
Oh, a country mile has elevation changes.
I told you. See, it's a country mile. It's what we call countryside mile.
There aren't a lot of elevation changes here. I'd say there's maybe a 2-foot elevation difference in this whole track.
Did you knock that fire hydrant over just before the Trans Am race?
Oh.
You see that?
Yes.
We almost had a flood.
I didn't see that, no.
Yeah,
oh, gosh.
It got to the,
that's what that is.
It filled this whole car park and got to the track.
Oh, gosh.
Final lap then, and Jacek Muka. We've learned about country miles. We've learned about Porsches. We've learned about GT40s, and we've seen that Travis Engen is no much slower than he ever is in that Audi, but he's going to take third today. But it's going to be another podium for the R8 LMP. The most winningest Audi ever. I never liked that expression, but I'll use it anyway. And in the Battle of the Myers, you don't want to get mired in that. Benjamin won it over Andrew. You can laugh at any point, Ben. That was a Meyer joke.
No, that was great. Here they come to take the green, or the checker, sorry.
And Andrea Robertson does finish in the top 10. And take some time before we see the next ones pop out of sunset, but they do.
Here comes Travis Engen.
Yep.
That is such a cool car.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a classic. If you ever get a chance to get up close to that, all the race wins it's had and all those that have raced in it to greatness are on the side. And it's just a great piece of history. And the fact that it's still going strong at, what, 20 years on?
Here comes Andrea Robertson, taking another checkered flag. That is a beautiful car. Andrea, love seeing you back in the paddock. So cool to have you here and so cool to see your car out there running with us at Sebring Speed Tour. Yeah, it's that camera angle that the brake light, left brake light doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. So another one in the books. We're going to take a short break here from the Speed Tour at Sebring. Join us after this. Good is this? Look at this view from Losowski.
It brings all my fans, it brings the audience into the car with me.
Speed turn 140-mile-an-hour entry speeds.
The quickest and most efficient way for me to get information to my drivers is from using the V-Box HD2 system.